All right, Fred and Becky, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. Thank you for your willingness to, spend a few minutes with me. Like I said to you earlier, off the records, I just really want to spread this good news because I believe we keep on touching people's lives and there's not enough time in a day. And unfortunately, it's hard to reach these folks. So, with that said, how did you find us?
We actually found you through a link with our financial advisors at Northwestern Mutual. One of the members of staff there, Lauren, deals with the health side of investments, and she advised us to contact you because of a problem that we didn't know we had regarding the supplemental parts of Medicare. We had signed up for what we understood to be Medicare, but didn't realize that it didn't cover everything that we needed to have covered.
Okay. And you have assumed that Medicare covered everything coming from another country. Am I correct?
Coming from the UK, where there's one system and it covers everything, yes.
And
that is correct.
It's basically all inclusive.
Yes.
In the UK. Okay. So this is a very broad question, so both of you can answer. Did you find Medicare a bit confusing?
Confusing, complex, difficult to understand. And I can imagine that there are a lot of people out there who still don't understand what it's all about.
The system is so complex that it really takes quite a level of expertise to understand it. Because we're quite knowledgeable about systems as such. And we looked into Medicare, but there are things that even though we looked into and asked, we did not get the information that we thought we had.
Yes, when we signed up for Medicare at the Social Security office, they didn't tell us anything about supplementary insurance needed. And it wasn't until later that we actually received, we had to pay additional amounts because
I remember
we hadn't
that.
signed up for it. And that was crazy. They didn't tell us, and then they charged us for not doing it.
I remember that. That was the time when I met you.
That's right.
Right.
And we were just totally confused by that time.
Right. So with that said, set that aside, and this is another very broad question. Have we made a difference in your lives?
Oh, absolutely.
Vast difference.
It has made us a lot more confident. No, sorry, it has made us confident that Medicare costs or medical costs are not a problem for us anymore.
It has given us such peace of mind and calmness because we are getting older.
Right.
We're already old.
We are really old, yes. We're both octogenarians at this point.
Yeah.
And so, to be expected, we have some health issues periodically. And we were concerned about how to meet those costs because the costs in this country are so extraordinarily high.
Yes, can I give you an example? When we were in the UK, I was in the pharmacy waiting for my asthma prescription, I think called Symbicort, and he said to me, "Do you know that these cost £60 a time?" And I said, "No, I didn't know that." So I didn't really take.
And £60 was about what?
£60 is probably about $80.
Okay.
Then something like $80, $90. I came here, $535 for the same product.
Wow.
And I mean, and when of course I had to pay that, that was a shock. In fact, we took a trip to Mexico and I could buy the same product over the counter in Mexico for $50. So I bought a year's worth and brought them back. $200. Yes.
So that's a very good way of finding ways to save money. So with that said, and you can choose not to answer this for your privacy. You already have given an example of bills that have been also paid. That's considered a Part D plan. But overall, can you think offhand of any maybe astronomical bills that have been paid with whatever plans we have put in place for you? And again, you can choose not to answer if nothing pops up.
My laminectomy?
Yes, that was serious. And also, I had an emergency shoulder replacement. I fell, broke my arm and my shoulder, and that was completely covered by my insurance.
And without insurance, how much do you think each would have cost? Just a rough
Oh,
estimate.
$100,000 or more.
His shoulder was actually crushed.
It was a complete replacement
Yeah.
of my shoulder and a metal spike down my arm. And I have no idea how much it would have cost.
Okay.
I mean, probably at least 100,000, if not 150,000. Who knows?
And I had a severe back problem, and it required a laminectomy of 3 of my vertebrae.
Oh,
And
wow. I
that
didn't
would
know,
have
Becky.
cost, what was it? I believe it was somewhere in the neighborhood of $73,000.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
probably a lot more than that, including hospital fees.
That was just the operation. That wasn't a hospital or anything else with it. And our policies covered it because of you.
Yes.
Well, thank you. So everything was covered 100% for you both, right?
Both, yes.
Good. And so what are your thoughts about our commitment to lifetime customer service to you guys? Are you pleased with it? Is there anything else that we need to do?
It's been excellent. You and your team have been fabulous in keeping us up to date with information. You're all so easy to work with. If we have questions, you get back to us and are answered promptly. You're very efficient with the breadth of information you give us, and in explaining why certain policies or certain companies would be best for our needs. So we feel it's a tailor-made service that we're
Okay.
getting to cover our particular needs, our medical needs. And so we don't have to worry about having something and then get a surprise bill.
Also,
Beautiful.
it's the fact that you check with the prescriptions that we have and make sure that the RX provider covers our prescriptions, because we both have a different Part D provider because of our
Mhm.
different prescriptions, and you've made sure that those fit us as well.
Beautiful. I'm happy to hear that.
Listen, we're happy. We're the beneficiaries of all of this.
Well, pleasure is from us, truly, because we value you, and we really treat each one. This is true. We treat each one as family to us. So I think I'm going to end this with, for our prospective clients, do you have any special message that you can impart to them, to folks who are just turning 65, to folks like you who are U.S. citizens, have gone outside to live outside the United States and have come back? Do you have any special message to
Yes,
those
I
folks out
would
there?
say one thing that we learned was to get advice early, because originally, and it still continues now, that we pay a penalty fee to Medicare because I did not apply before the age of 65. I was out
Mhm.
of the country and did not know
That
that
is
I
right.
had applied. So I didn't apply until we began to live here.
Mhm.
And that was several years after the age of 65. And so
That's
I'm
right.
penalized and continue
That's
to
right.
pay a penalty for that.
Because we didn't know that as a US citizen abroad, she is still required to register for Medicare.
Yes.
I know. I know.
And we had no knowledge of this because we were happily living on the national health system in the UK. Why would we think of registering with Medicare in the US?
So that's number one.
Exactly.
Begin to work with an expert early, because there are advantages to that. Secondly, please work with an expert, because you have the range of expertise and knowledge and experience to get the best possible coverage for each individual. And we've seen through your dedication that you've done that. You've done that for us. And for that, quite honestly, that is worth, I mean, we have such peace of mind about medical issues that you cannot imagine, because it can be a horrendous swamp and a very expensive experience. And without you and your team's help, we're sure we would have hit some pitfalls.
Yes, and the thing I would say to anybody who's just turning or getting to the age for Medicare is be very careful of the adverts that you see on television, because they are, you don't know who you're dealing with in some cases. It doesn't tell you the name of the company that you're dealing with. And the chances of being misled are very, very high.
And so we thank the person. I mean, we just owe a debt of gratitude to the people who referred you to us, or us to you. And because a personal reference is, I mean, that's invaluable to us. And so we'd like to do that for others. That a personal, we love to speak to anybody and refer you to everyone. You would be overwhelmed because of all the people we'd be willing to talk to, and just say how wonderful you've been to us and the difference you've made in our lives.
Well, I'm so happy to hear that. Really,
Yes.
the pleasure is mine. You are blessings to us, and we will continue to be teammates with your Medicare needs, right?
Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you. We are so happy that you're a part of our lives, and this is an ongoing partnership, right?
And you are
most of,
so dedicated. We thank you for that.
well, thank you. Pleasure is mine. You're welcome.